So I wasn't able to get into my own arena game this morning, but I am uh, I am casting a game for some others now. Um, this is this is Fruity Harris's and Eljazz's uh, kind of Madness Ladder League that they've done. I don't really play in it very often. I consider playing this game, except they already had 4 players, but this is kind of like an anything goes type of arena where they play on a random map, so you can get stuff like leaks, which is always iffy. I like the fan factions, which they include, but they also have the fire and ice factions, who can be swingy. Um, and in addition to that, they also have this fire and ice scoring. Now, to be fair, the fire and ice scoring this time is cool because it's settlements, but I don't always love that. Um, um, so today we've got Matt the Lesser. Um, he's probably currently the top like fan faction slash Fire and Ice factions player in the game. He has won TM tour before, um, and he does love Ice Maidens. We have a Nuke, who's a strong player. Seen him in the streams before. Um, we have JDI, who another very strong player, seen in the streams before. He won the last season of Fire 2 Open. I do hope that there are more to come. And we have Fatty B, who lately is probably most, at least to me, most known for creating the Arrow map. Like now you can play custom maps in Terra Mystica, so he designed one and he's running a league for it and stuff as well. Um, so you got Ice Maidens on Brown. Brown is the best color on leaks. It's like absurd how good of leech Brown can get. Now an Ice faction can't build on natural Browns, but an Ice faction can also advance their digs quite easily. So these yellow, browns, and blacks will be contested very much by Ice Maidens this game. We have the chash dallah in the second seat, affectionately called cash dallah, because they can use coins. Once they have their stronghold out, they can use coins instead of power to take power actions, which, as you can imagine, is a very, very strong ability. It is temple early, though, so we might see the chash dallah not build their stronghold until this round. They also have an interesting faction board. It's not showing here yet, but they have a base income of $2, just with no structures, and they can advance on like this. They can advance on an income track for the cost of 2 workers and 2 coins, and that actually lets them that gets them like another worker of income or another 2 coins of income every time that they go up it. It's like a shipping track. As a trade-off, they can't advance on the digging track. So, green is one of the weakest colors on this map. It's arguably the single weakest color. Blue is also not great, but I think that like in these games with the extra scoring, connection is so important. But I feel like there are 2 kind of key green zones, which are D6 and C2. But they often it's kind of a tenuous connection path because the center area will be blocked off, so you need to ship around this bend, and any number of factions could disrupt that. If the chash dallah are able to connect, I actually do like their chances. Chash dallah, in my experience, often like to take scoring favors instead of income favors, simply because their inherent economy is just so insanely powerful. Jekyll, good morning. Looks like a great game. I hope it is, yeah. I considered joining it, except that it was already... If this were a 3-player game instead of a 4-player game, I would have considered being the 4th. but I don't want to be a fifth in this. Especially it winds up that this is on lakes. I don't even want to like imagine a 5-player lakes game. It's so brutal. Um, um, so we got Chaos in the third seat. Chaos is probably going to start on this C3 hex, which to me suggests that the chash dallah should. Well, okay, so there's a chance that they can get this center town at the moment. Ice maidens, Ice maidens are starting D5, but they might not want to spade D4 with their first action necessarily. Um, Ice maidens. Well, actually, come to think of it, that's probably wrong. Ice maidens have a very good chance at grabbing D4 with their first action. Um, Ice Maiden's special ability is that they start with a favor tile, so they're almost certainly going to start with an income favor, which means that they can basically secure double dig as long as they get a power tile, which there's 3 power tiles in this game. Um, Especially temp ship. Like if you have B5, D5 Ice Maidens, then you could just see them spading down C5, F4 for their first action, or like T4, B4. I would like to see probably black here, ideally, um, just to at least slightly interfere with Ice Maidens a little bit. Um, that would probably be my preference here in terms of color. Um, the Children of the Worm, I think, might be kind of interesting on this map. Like, Children of the Worm can make cool stuff happen down through E3, F2, H3. Um, they have a couple of like weird abilities which are kind of fiddly to me. One of them is that they burn power like faster than their opponents. So if they have like 9 power in bowl 3 or in bowl 2, then they can burn 3 of those power to advance the rest of the 6 all into bowl 3. So you have to be like, their math on like acquiring power actions can be a little faster. They also have like a slight victory point edge because they have to pay fewer victory points to gain leech. And yeah. What else do Children of the Worm have? The more notable thing is that once they build their stronghold, they can drop power tokens down on these river hexes adjacent to their own structures, and that gives them adjacency, only for themselves. So similar to mermaids, they can form towns across rivers if they can get enough of those power tokens. We have actual mermaids, though. I kind of hate this. Fatty, why you do this? So I think Ice Maidens are the best by like a country mile here, because green is a weak color in this map. Mermaids are bad on this map, because blues are kind of spread out, and then after a while you just don't have that much to do with blues anymore. And they have a color neighbor. Green is a color neighbor. Brown is the best color on this map, and they don't have a color neighbor. Chaos and Ice Maidens also play first and can secure double dig if they wish. So, yeah, I think that it looks pretty dreamy for Ice Maidens. Chaos is also like pretty good here as well. I do wonder if this is a game where you can delay your Sanctuary for Chaos. Because of the color wheel, you actually have it pretty good where it doesn't seem that likely that you need all that econ at first. You could just maybe take Earth 1, Earth 2 in round 1. Get this, try to pass early for double spade, secure what territory you still can at that point. Build dwellings, and then Sanctuary for like Water 1 and Fire 1 or something. Yeah, yikes, Mermaids. I agree. I think that Mermaids have turned this into I think that there's a chance that the chash dallah and the Mermaids are. I don't know about chash because they have a very, very strong inherent ability, but I think that Mermaids could be like more than 20 points worse than Ice Maidens here. Especially because Ice Maidens, like, I don't like Ice Maidens, in addition to having in addition to getting their favor when they begin the game, their stronghold also scores them points for having temples on the board. So they're never building their sanctuary here. They're going to build like a stronghold, and that stronghold will be worth as many points as Water 1, if not more, because they might have already 2 temples at the beginning of the game. If they're able to get their economy going, of course. This all assumes economy going, but like this could be a 27-point stronghold Ice Maidens if they open double temple and then they stronghold in this round. Then they would get, I believe it's 3 points per temple on the board at the end of each round, similar to engineers and bridges, which means that they could get 6, 6, 6, and then maybe they build a temple in the final round for Air 1 or something. 9. It could be an absolutely absurd Ice Maidens game, even if they just build that completely tall and culty or something. Chaos does like to build tall and culty. I think I like Chaos to win network here, and they won't get, their issue is, are they getting a center town? It's very swingy, just like on base, how there's like that gray hex E7, where if witches dig that hex away from Chaos, you have issues. Chaos's issue this time, I don't think that witches have, or the chash have any interest in C4, but Ice Maidens could or could not want D4. So whether or not Ice Maidens want D4 is going to be very, very swingy to Chaos. Because if Chaos gets to this center town, then I like them just as much as Ice Maidens. I think that's kind of a bold statement to make, but my thought is that they can secure Earth 1. They don't need the extra economy here, especially with coins coming in here. Then they can get Water 1 for sure here. And then they can maybe get some extra economy or Air 1 or something. There's good cult rewards to reward them for building a little tall. And then this is really good for building wide late. Matt also likes Chaos. I think that he might be seeing that Ice Maidens are a little better with double temple, perhaps, than with trying to dig D4 early. And if Ice Maidens do open double temple, then it makes it quite attractive for Chaos to try to claim this center town. We can take a look at the pass tiles in the game. There is no big building pass tile in the game, which makes these like a little more questionable. However, I do think that the Stronghold Sanctuary tile is not like... I think that we have 3 factions with such strong... like, Chaos has a very strong Sanctuary because it comes with 2 favors. And these guys have extremely strong Strongholds, so I don't think the lack of the big building tile is going to deter anyone from putting those in. We're also missing... Wow, we're actually also missing 2... We're missing 3 total scoring bonuses, which is pretty insane. Because the dwelling and the TP bonuses are both missing, that makes it a very scoring tight game on the pass. If there's a Mermaids game plan, it probably revolves around monopolizing this tile. If Mermaids can monopolize this tile and just spam out some dwellings with Fire 1, and then Sanctuary for Water 1 or something, then they can play like a wide but low footprint, low network game, where they just try to monopolize this tile, advance ship a lot, and then score Water 1 points here. Maybe only make 1 town or 2 towns or something. I don't know. We got some chatter over here. Fatty hates lakes. Matt also is not a big fan of lakes. JDI likes lakes. I remember in the Lakes Arena season, I think JDI was one of the guys who would play witches on this map. He would play green, and he would actually do quite well. I think that some players were able to figure out how to play witches here. Anoop is a fan of the lakes map. I think that he's saying that the pass tiles are weird. Yeah, the track and the pass tiles are weird. I don't think that's such a weird track. I think this is a cool track. I think it's a good track for a lot of factions. I don't think it's great for... Yeah, I mean, it rewards you for building wide because you have TPs late. It also rewards you for building tall because you have these pass tiles here, or these workers here. Yeah, we have two fans of Thaddeus pointing out that we have two masochistic fans here, um, who enjoy like the fighting over hexes a lot, fighting over town space. Jekyll, you don't think that CM are getting the center town? Does that mean that you think that Ice Maidens are taking D4 from them? I presume that that's what you mean. Fatty is saying that these really uncomfortable matchups seem to happen against Matt a lot. I can't speak to that. Haven't been part of their games, but I don't. So okay. So I was talking about the Chash's ability. They're the only fan faction in this game, so we can take a quick look at them. So their stronghold, like alchemists, produce 6 coins, which is pretty fantastic. And yeah, like the other really amazing thing about their stronghold is that like those 6 coins are like getting 12 power income because they're able to take power actions with those coins, which is, in my opinion, pretty absurd. They also have this inherent scoring track. So instead of being able to advance digs, they can advance on this income track, which, and I think that this is probably too strong. They start out at 2 coins base income for like no apparent reason. But every time that they pay 2 workers and 2 coins, they can advance on this, score a few points, and then they just increase their income. This isn't like, this is your income. This is like everything to the left of this is your income. So if they max out this track, which they can, like, if they just didn't build any temples or strongholds or like dwellings, then they could actually just increase this all the way to the top within like, what, like 2 rounds? So yeah, 2 rounds, they can score 14 points off of this and get their income as if they had built out 2 dwellings and 3 TPs. So Chash's like inherent strength is pretty good. I do not like this mermaids bid like one bit. I think that Chash are the issue of Chash is that they're unlikely to connect. I guess mermaids actually. So I forgot this one point, which is that this settlement scoring I think is good for mermaids. It's good for mermaids and chaos particularly. I think that ice maidens might want to like form towns and play a little taller and tighter. But one of the weaknesses of mermaids normally on this map is that their dwellings are kind of spread out in places that don't necessarily form towns very nicely. Fruity Harris, thank you for the thank you for the follow. Founder of the league, glad to have you in the chat. So, does look like an interesting one here. I was just saying how I don't really like mermaids being put into this game, but mermaids are, I think that the mermaids game plan probably heavily revolves around this tile. It involves spreading out really early, really wide, and it involves just like upgrading those into TPs late with like maybe water one and fire one. I think that might be like a 2 favorite tile mermaids game, maybe like 10 structures to like 12 structures, 0 traditional network points, but maybe like score all the outpost points and take like 1 town, maybe like an 11 pointer or like a priest town or even like, yeah, whatever you need to. And your main goal is just like stay on this guy, make sure no one gets on this guy, except for you, because there's no other scoring pass tiles in the game, which I find really, really interesting. There actually was a little bit of action on mermaids as well. I don't know if that was just like a testing. Yeah, JDI tried out mermaids for a sec. I mean, so about Chaos not getting a center town, they're probably not going to, they might not get like the center town that they want, but is anyone going to get on B5 or B4 quickly? Like, if they get the economy to put some spades on these, then like they could make a town through there. And like normally I'm not one for like over investing in town space, but yeah, Jekyll, you don't like that Chash is the 40. I think that Chash have like a lot of just like inherently good stuff going for them. going through this board, like they have like this insane economy, and they have a reason to just build a temple early. So like this could be like a temple opening plus like advance on their income track or something. Um, yeah, mermaids are bleh. I agree that mermaids are bleh, but the players here are good and they see something in this and mermaids here. Um, Now, I mean, I don't like mermaids on this map, but like there's always this siren song where it's like, oh hey, check it out. If you take 10th ship, you can just like build these dwellings for free, and then, I mean, you quickly run out of stuff to do after that. But like I think that there is a game plan here where like you take the spade, you dig H3 in round one, then you tempt ship a little bit in round two, and then maybe you get E1, D1, like so you spread out, you get dwelling income going. Like there's some play there. But yeah, I do think that Ice Maidens are kind of absurdly good if you figure out like the right tall game plan and can still get out dwellings late. Um, I was saying that I could see Ice Maidens easily being 20 points better than Mermaids or Chash, and they are hitting that point where their valuation is going to be around 20 points better than Chash. Um, Also, I mean, if you guys noticed, I have added like a visible chat bar on the on our on our screen. So if you guys have any complaints or whatever about like how that chat bar looks, just say the word. I can try to change it. Um, Jekyll, you think that Chash win network? I wonder about that because I wonder where they're going to connect. Do you think that Chash are coming around the bend and connecting? Do you think that they're getting to D6 and C2 and connecting like in this kind of loop? Um, or do you think that they're going to blitz through the center, like dig C4, dig B4, and then connect this way? I mean, they are an extremely strong economic faction, but I do think that if they don't start D6 and they don't start G3, mermaids still have a good chance of just spading both those hexes away early. Um, like, depending on who's playing Ice Maidens, right? Depending on who's doing Ice Maidens, you could see them not double spading round one, and then mermaids might just double spade round one. Okay, you would do D5, G3. Okay, you're talking D6, yeah. So you're giving up the West then, or like it's just like a pipe dream to like get I3 or something and ship to these hexes late. Um, Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you don't need it, and then you just get all the late game double spades on this side, hit like these natural greens on the right side of the map. FireX, do you want to know whether it's time to go for the Chash? I think that Chash are already better than mermaids, so you got that going for you. Um, I think that you have neighbor issues in the spots where you do want towns. Eljaz, you think that Ice Maidens want double temple, then the double spade probably goes to mermaids, and then you feel like mermaids win network? Uh, I think that mermaids have a good chance at winning like the um, this settlement scoring network. I don't know about winning network outright. Like it's certainly possible. I guess like there's not a ton of contention for blues. Um, Chash seem to want gray a little more, and they might be spread out. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe people are seeing something in mermaids that I'm not seeing, right? Like I just like in all my experience playing mermaids, I have like these nice openings where you get out like a temple, some dwellings, like you feel good, and then sometimes you even get more dwellings out, and then like you run out of neighbors, you run out of stuff to do, and then like you're just trying to advance digs or something like late in the game. Um, you're very rarely able to form three towns. Uh, I suppose like depending on the starting spots for Chash, like you could form three towns. There's a town here, there's a town in the center, there's a town down here. There's like a town up here, but those are all like kind of crappy neighbor spots, not great for leech. Um, Matt and Fatty have mostly stayed away from mermaids. But yeah, I don't think that I don't think it's a bad idea for Chash to come in soon. Let's look at the past tiles. Traditionally, I think you want the spade as mermaids. Um, and I think that's fine because you can just take H3, H2. Chaos can get temp ship, a priest, or the worker power tile. Worker power, they're probably not getting double spade. Or there's a chance they get double spade, but either ice maidens or mermaids should have tempo and double spade. So that makes the worker power a little less attractive. Priest I think is good. Priest to Earth is pretty strong. So Matt's on Chaos. And we have Fatty on Ice Maidens at 20. And JDI finally took Chash dallah. I believe that JDI put in Chash. Oh no, JDI put in Chaos. Okay. But JDI, I was saying, likes this map. And back in the day, during the arena season, he had a good run with witches on this map. So while I think green is the weakest color, and this is a game that double rewards economy, Chash's internal economy is so strong that if they can connect, they're going to make some good stuff happen. One sec. Okay, so that was a likely auction, actually. Ice Maidens are taking Earth 2. Makes a lot of sense if their plan is to go tall, and they want this reward is in the game. Earth 2 also seems to make it more likely that they're not contesting Double Dig early. And I think that Ice Maidens not contesting Double Dig early is probably good news for Mermaids or Chaos if Chaos take worker power. I think that with the temple here and the dig round here, Mermaids might be better off not going for double dig in round one because they're going to start on the spade. They might be better off trying to take temp ship or just manually advancing ship in round two and getting their spades then. Matt is sad that Fatty bid on Ice Maidens instead of hopping over to Chash. Fatty is also saying that he also kind of wanted to jump to Chash, and Fatty is saying that he didn't want Matt on Ice Maidens. Matt has had some absolutely insane games as Ice Maidens, and yeah, he's saying that it's his favorite faction. That makes a lot of sense. Like I said, he's like one of the top, probably the top like Fire and Ice / fan factions player in the game right now, and he has had some pretty wild Ice Maidens games before. But we have Fatty on Ice Maidens, and we have Matt on Chaos. I'm very curious to see what Matt's game plan for Chaos is here. Anoop is considering a second dwelling, and I think that Anoop is quickly finding out some issues with green in the game. This D6 starting spot means that one dig spot is gone. One natural dig spot is gone. Anoop is probably going to town through the west here. But H4 is like a really, really good hex for expansion. However, especially if you take the spade in round one. However, his issue here is that starting H4 wastes temp ship. It wastes shipping. Like now he's sequestered on this side of the map, and like that's one fewer hex he can ship to because he's already on both these hexes, which are connected via to ship. So this starting spot almost certainly means the spade. And Jekyll, you were saying that green maybe should start on G3. JDI could definitely do that now, and we can see what happens. JDI could also start I3 and try some shenanigans with getting temp ship onto H5 with a single spade. I think that might be kind of fun. I don't know if it's good. But that would be like a nice way to secure an extra green that Mermaids might not be thinking about early. and JDI is thinking about this one. G3 seems a little unlikely to get a neighbor. Dracula, you don't like the mermaids placements? Yeah, mermaids always had some issues here because I think the thing is that you want to be in the leech party, so you want to be on E4, but you don't want to be on E4 and H4 because those are natural shipping spots and temp ship is in the game. But then you also want to be on H4 because then you can dig H3 and get this free hex. You have the spade in round 1. Like, you want that. But this is just one of like the many awkward things about mermaids, right? Like, here's the upside. JDI is thinking hard about this, which means that he's considering placing. I don't think that there's any world where JDI is placing out there. Yeah, he does place G3, which is exactly what you predicted, Jekyll. I think that we could very well see the chash going for temp ship and seeing what they can do about H5, I3. Or, ooh. So this is canonically my favorite place, like double center. I call this double center is my favorite place to place as brown. However, with no gray and no red in the game, this hex, no black, like this hex doesn't have a neighbor, which is pretty interesting. It is a very good spot for digging though. Like you can dig through this top area, and I guess this is a read. This is a bet, right? That C4 is too valuable of a hex to red, to chaos, not to go here. Now chaos could surprise us by going G2, but if JDI digs H5 with his first action, then that's like super sad. Anoop is considering not taking the spade. Okay, yeah, he just takes the spade. It's worth thinking about your options. That was also by the way, that was a 6-minute dwelling placement. Lakes is a very tricky map to play. Matt does take the priest, so this is a little tricky for Matt. I think that. So I'm thinking about what I would do here as chaos. Chash is going to get 9 power or 11 power in bowl 2, which is just one short of being able to take the double spade if Fatty's first action is to upgrade here. Oh, sorry. Did I say that was Matt? It's Fatty who's playing Ice Man. So Fatty placed up here, betting on C4 being too important in round 1, not to build. I presume that this priest goes to Earth, and then like a later priest can go to one of these cults for chaos. But here we go. And Ice Maidens are on the coins and cult step tile, which is fine. They don't immediately grab the worker's action. Okay, so Matt does secure C4 first action. I think that makes a lot of sense. And Matt also made the right bet that chaos would, or that he wouldn't need to take worker power to do that. So now he can put priest to Earth and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins off of it, plus lock up position on the Earth cult. It's all very good stuff. Fatty, I suspect that Fatty is considering taking the worker's power action here, and that's the reason for this think. Nope, takes the priest, so I'm completely off. That's a little weird to me because Matt can totally just put priest to Earth. You think that Chaos does get the center talent? Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that the odds were that bad, especially like if we were looking at double temple. And JDI digging C4 also is just not very good for him, right? He can double spade over here. He has spaces to double spade. But if I were JDI, I might just take Earth 1 first. Earth 1 is like quite good for. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that I would have strongly considered templing for Earth 1 here, if I were Chash at that spot. But he might just open Stronghold despite this. Stronghold is just so strong for Chash. But yeah, I don't like necessarily know everything to make of this faction. I think that we could also see maybe Temple or yeah, I mean I don't really know why he didn't just Temple for Earth One. Maybe he was afraid of Fatty getting the double spade. Because this temple plus this temple would make Earth One happen. Or would make double spade happen for Ice Maidens. So fair play. Well, Fatty could still get these workers, and I don't think that anyone else can slash wants them. Anoop takes Earth One, which to me is a big bummer. I don't like that. But that's fine. I mean, Anoop is still getting out 2 dwellings. Like, he should be able to ship up to C5 and C6 like pretty safely. He should be able to beat Chash up there. Chash, if I were Chash, I think that I would do this for Earth One. And like, I don't like taking Earth One as like any faction really, other than Chaos, and maybe Ice Maidens want to because they can get 2 tiles, but it is Earth One, yeah, because their economy is just so good, right? They already have 2 coin income coming in. Instead of building this dwelling, I think that the correct thing is to just advance on the income track, because I don't think mermaids are going to affect this tile before JDI can just pass and then build on this next round. Oh wow, temp ship is in the game. That's wild. And mermaids surprisingly take E3 instead of H3. That I don't know about that, because why not just get an extra dwelling out? Mermaids presume I guess this tells us that mermaids are passing it for temp ship. And when they pass for temp ship, they can just double dig C2 and B3. That's bad news for JDI, who I think would ideally like to advance on the income track and then build H6. But mermaids set themselves up to pass right away, which means that they could get H6 instead, which, I mean, it's all very messy to me. Matt winds up getting Earth 1 blocked because of all the pressures that were put on him. He needed this double spade, or he needed this single spade, then he needed to put Priest to Earth to beat Ice Maidens there, so he winds up losing Earth 1. It's a bit of a bummer, because I think that Chaos is one of the factions that most wants it. So, yeah, JDI is now thinking, because Anoop could really annoy him. Yeah, he winds up just building H6 instead of advancing on the income track. It's the same amount of income, to be fair. It's an extra worker at the moment. He can always advance on this track a little later. But I would guess that was not like the ideal sequence of events for green here. Anoop is going to pass and double spade. I think at this point it's probably B3, H3 is my guess that Anoop will double spade. B3 actually gives good access to these blues up here. So maybe this color wheel, like, because gray is so often in these games and black is so often in these games, maybe we just have like a skewed color perspective on like the quality of mermaids. But this should just be a pass for temp ship at this moment, I assume. It could also just be pass for 7 coins, I guess, or this tile. And then, because you can still double spade pretty effectively, C2, H3 or something. You build slightly fewer dwellings, but you only build 1 fewer dwelling, and you get some points, or like a ton of coins as mermaids. Let's see what they choose. Yeah, I think I might have been a little too critical about mermaids game, because E3 like does shorten their round, and passing for the double spade and a double spade round is good. So to be clear, there's nothing bad about that. Mermaids pass, that probably means that the chash will get the spade. Because Ice Maidens clearly are not done. They're always building a second temple here. Ice Maidens are getting a little locked out of the spade game, which means that D4 is definitely go to Matt. Oh, Matt has air 2. Earth 2, air 2. I do like that. Matt definitely needs the spade. He's going to get the single spade, no question. So yeah, I think that it's going to go pass for one of these 3 tiles, or any of these 3 tiles, rather. They're all good. Then it's going to go temple up over here, and that temple will probably be for, it could be for air 2 as well. It could be for fire 1. I don't think it'll be water 1. I think that that's probably a little too little economy. Then it's going to go pass here for the, or then it's going to go pass for the spade. Yep, so here comes the temple. JDI just passes for the spade. Matt will pass for the 7 coins. That's really nice. I think it's the 7 coins at least. Yeah, because he can't take all the power income from this, probably. The 7 coins is really good. It sets him up for this, given that he doesn't have fire 1. And then the sanctuary can be like fire 1 and some other stuff. So that means the ice maidens are going to take the longest round, and they're going to end up with either a priest or maybe temp ship. But ice maidens are in a little bit of trouble here, I think. JDI passes for coins instead of a spade. I don't like that. It's a spade round. I think he had enough stuff to advance shipping and then like dig this, or advance shipping. I don't know. I'm not huge on this. And this is like such a great outcome for Matt too. Matt probably gets a coins action to open the round, and then he gets D4. Anoop is saying nice opening to Fatty. Fatty does have the nice opening. Like, this is why you bid on this faction, right? Like, or especially on this color wheel. Like, Fatty just has everything going for him because Brown is just so dominant in terms of leech early in the game. But Fatty does very badly need spades. Yeah, I'm not convinced about JDI passing for 7 coins instead of 2 coins and a spade. I suppose that 7 coins is like, he'll need those coins in order to get this. And he can like build a dwelling or 2 by shipping. Like if Anoop doesn't prioritize I3, and I don't really see why Anoop would prioritize I3, he has like C2 and H3 to spade, then maybe JDI just gets out 2 dwellings anyway, even without the spade. So that could be good. We'll see what happens. We did talk about like this being kind of Mermaid's game plan to monopolize this tile. They don't. I was thinking that they would take coins instead of Earth 1, or like the Fire 1 favor instead of the Earth 1 favor, so that they could have like a better coin income and then better be able to abuse this tile. But what they really want here is they really want to be able to take as long a round as they can, so that they can monopolize this tile, as I was saying. It's hard to do against these factions who have like all these priests and whatever, but Chash should have a fairly short round. Chaos might have a long round, and Ice Maidens might have a long round, so you might not be able to hang on to this guy that long. Fatty winds up getting his economy really roaring. The only problem is that he can't really build any dwellings. He could, hilariously, Fatty could advance ship twice and then, or advance dig twice and then build B4. But yeah, it is the 2 digs that we were expecting here from Mermaids. Anoop also isn't thinking about having a fast round. He built C2 right away, so he only has 3 actions left: dwelling, priest to water. Maybe I would probably just take the priest to water for Anoop here. Chash probably just advance their ship now and then build I3, I4, and then advance on the income track. So I think that that's what I would do here as Chash. I would go 4 coins, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So spend 10 coins to get yourself 2 dwellings and an advance here. You still have 4 coins in your pocket, and then you have this. So then next round you build your stronghold. JDI puts priest to air, which I really don't understand this play from JDI. Like this round looks so bad for him now, right? Like, am I wrong, or does JDI basically have nothing going on this round? Matt secures the center town. So now that this is locked up, Matt or I wonder who gets the coins action. Mermaids probably lengthened their round with the coins action, right? Now mermaids can just advance their. Well, now advancing. Yeah, mermaids get the coins action. That's pretty fantastic. Love that. The single spade might just lie fallow this round. I don't really see anyone particularly wanting it. Temp ship becomes less attractive later in these games. Fatty does advance digs. Okay, so Fatty is going to lock up B4 before mermaids just take it away from him. I find that kind of hilarious, but also it makes sense and it's fun. So yeah, I do like that. Yeah, so Fatty did take Fire 1 for the second one. I really hope that he doesn't Sanctuary for Water 1. Probably Water 1 is just not in the cards for Ice Maidens this game. So he took the Workers power action. Okay, so he can build out 2 dwellings, and no, he can build out 1 dwelling and get down in 2 dwellings. Yeah, 2 dwellings. That's cool. Fun Ice Maidens game for sure. I like this a lot. Not convinced that it's winning. In fact, I'm kind of convinced that it's not particularly winning, but it's really fun. He's going to get 8 points here by dig build. I like that. Matt managed to get up to 2 ship, so he's going to spam out some dwellings. This is a beautiful game for Chaos Magicians. If I had to bet, I would say Chaos Magicians are probably winning currently. They don't have Earth 1, which is a bummer for Chaos. So Chash have passed. JDI advanced once on this track. And next round, he's going to build 2 dwellings and make a stronghold, I guess. Okay, I mean, it's not the end of the world for JDI, and JDI also has like all the expansion on the east, so okay, I'm feeling this Chash game plan a little bit, but I still think that building 2 dwellings here was really, really strong. I'm just a fan. Like I mean, Ondas said that Terra Mystica is just about building dwellings, and he's not really wrong. Why do you need temporary shipping? Like, you're chash. Just advance your shipping for real. You have major economy. Matt has some coin issues, but hilariously, I think that Matt's just going to be able to take coins first action next round because no one else has any power. Yeah, Fatty is never taking coins. Chash are 1 short, and I don't think that anyone's giving them Bleach. So yeah, Matt's just getting a fourth seat coins action, and possibly getting onto this tile as well. So it's probably a 4th seat coins action followed by Sanctuary for Water 1. I'm curious if you guys think, chat, if you think that Fire 1 is better here or Air 1 is better here for Chaos. I would think that probably Fire 1 is still better. Or Water 2. I mean, it could be Water 2. There's a late Water Spade. It could come with like a worker, 2 workers. Yeah, it's probably not quite worth it to take Water 2 for 1 spade, and it's like half a spade and like 1 worker. You would probably rather have Air 1 or Fire 1, and I just don't know when it's going to be really Air 1 points. So yeah. Yeah, if Chash don't get leeched, then Chaos can afford to send a priest off to a cult before they burn down to 4. Ice Maidens are a little short right now. They could convert 2 priests to workers in order to try to make this stronghold happen, but they're probably strongholding here, I suppose. So this might just be a good round to just build out some more dwellings for Ice Maidens. There's water one for a nuke. I don't know. Anoop's economy doesn't seem too bad, so maybe I was wrong about mermaids. Like, I really was hoping that Chash would be having a better game than this, but I mean, mermaids have secured the territory that they need. Will be 2 towns, so that's good. And they have a lot of Western blues that they can ship to on only 1 dig. There's an interesting line here where 3 digs here could be a 3rd town for mermaids, because I think that there's a very good chance that Chaos are going to be on D2 pretty soon. Like, I mean, Chaos is 100% getting on D2 this game, so if Anoop can weasel his way onto C1, then this D2 house will provide an excellent neighbor for this town here. This is the iffiest neighbor town, but, you know, like a Fire 2 plus a stronghold here could take care of that. And again, like, I'm talking about towns, but this is a settlements game. So right now, Chaos appears to be dominating the settlements game because they don't have any other natural town spots. I mean, they could try to do this town or this town if they think they can get the neighbors and digs, but they're going to spread far and wide, which I love. Oh, Ice Maidens beat Chaos onto this guy. And Ice Maiden's also got the coins action, it looks like. They got the leech that they needed, I suppose. I don't know. Matt chose not to take coins, chose to Sanctuary, and he took Fire too. Whoa. Whoa, that's not what I expected at all. I was expecting either Fire 1 or Air 1. Instead takes Fire 2, which means I guess he's going to town now? That has to be what that means, right? Because, like, I didn't feel like there was any rush for a town, but, like, Fire 2 does come with 1 extra worker, but, like, with this many workers, that can't be, like, the #1 thought for it. I mean, the 2-key town is always good, right? The 2-key town can't be bad. So presumably we're going to see that here. Okay, I have to admit I'm a little confused by it. JDI advanced ship is going to get around to A9 now. But if JDI does build A9, then he has issues building his stronghold. And I think that the earlier the stronghold, the better. I think that, to me, it's clearly better to get a stronghold here than this dwelling. But maybe it's not better than a dwelling and 2 increases on this track and just build your stronghold this round. That's not clear to me. Matt has not built his 2-key town yet. Might be just delaying giving reach to these guys because he's going to get like a boatload of reach if he upgrades his town anytime soon. I think Matt also kind of wants B7 to cut off chash and reach C7 on slightly fewer shipping, but I guess D7 is just as good. Fatty advanced ship to 2, which doesn't really do him too much, I think, unless, I guess he can get down to G4 and start carving this town, but he also needs to secure C5 for sure. So I think that if I were Fatty, I might go C5, D7, he might also just go g4, g6. That gets, like, g6 is a hex that you really don't want to lose to chaos, because this is a town for you. But I'm curious to see how many towns actually have in this game. Yeah. It's not clear that we're gonna get like that many towns this game with the settlement scoring. Right now, Chash appear to be the faction least interested in forming a lot of towns. Like, we might see these two hexes get dug and a bridge come out, but Chaos also seems well positioned for that. Fatty, I mean, good old think here. He's obviously not building a stronghold this round, so he's trying to figure out where can he place his dwellings. And indeed it is G4. Definitely indicates interest in a town, I think. But, I mean, that could certainly be wrong. I don't want to, like, insist on that or anything. This gives JDI some of the leech that he was really hoping for, I think. Okay, so the 2-key town does come out now. Fatty has a big leech decision to make. Fatty takes it. I think that was the right move. And Trash take a priest? This is JDI, buddy, what are you doing? This is a weird. I just like can't get a handle at all on this game. I think that's not to say that it's bad, you know, like JDI seems to be doing absolutely fine for himself. His footprint is absolutely massive now, and he's gotten a ton of value out of this Earth 1. Yeah, like, is this priest going to a cult, or is it going to be used to reach E7 while he still has temp ship? And for Matt, is he going to get... Yeah, so as I was thinking, Fatty did go for G6. He's going to assume that he can connect off of C5 at some point, or even F5. Oh, actually D7 is also a connection hex. Yeah, so Fatty doesn't need to worry that much about connection yet. What he does seem to want is to be able to access this area happily. So some key hexes that we're going to keep. What is this? What is this? Oh man, are you even getting your stronghold out next round now? Oh man, I did not expect the sanctuary, and it is for water 1. So Ice Maidens very predictably get locked out of water 1. But yeah, I don't like this. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't really like that. But I mean, to be fair, JDI will manage to get a stronghold out next round. But I didn't like that very much. Mermaids get up to 3 ship. I didn't realize that they had gotten up to 2 ship even. So they're going to get C5 now. That's quite nice. Mermaids starting center, like all the way on the west, and getting all the way here is pretty cool. Aradel, you're saying that 3-space group can't be a town without a bridge. Are you talking about the chash here? Like this? Or this? So you're talking about the 3 hexes down here in the south can't be a town? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ridiculous for Chash to get G2, right? Like, if they do get their stronghold out, then they're going to get 6 coins of income each round that they can use for double spades. The question is, how fast will Matt get down to G2? Matt might not care that much about G2. Has lots of other reds over here. G2 might be like a stretch goal for him. But yeah, a nuke does come up here, and mermaids are not looking too bad, admittedly. Now they are starting to run into what I considered one of their like obvious issues from the beginning of the game, which is that they're out of coins. They have no coin income. They have no coins coming in here. They don't even have the power to take a coins action if they pass it early. Though I suppose worker power is not that bad. Fatty's taking a long round and immediately cuts Matt off of here. I think that makes a lot of sense. Fatty wants to save his workers and coins so that he can build a stronghold here instead of like wasting it on like building. Oh, Matt's around the bend already, so it doesn't matter. This is probably just to ensure that he doesn't get cut off. Because Fatty wants to be able to build these browns and blacks and yellows. This is actually like a potential town spot for our Ice Maiden friends. Matt still can try to go for this town. Now, I was thinking that Chash might be on E7 by the end of last round, but this might still happen. Fatty got the coins. That made sense. Matt got up to 3 ship. Yeah, I will say, I don't know about that Fire 2. The Fire 2 got Matt a ton of workers, but like, he has way too many workers and not enough coins. So like, is he doing workers to coins or what? Like what is actually happening with this? Is he making another town? Why couldn't this have been like Air 1 and then like 2 TPs instead? It's not like he has enough workers that could have been fine economy for him. So I'm curious. I have questions. JDI is getting himself his stronghold, it looks like. JDI probably just wants stronghold pass, I guess. Toss a lot of priests onto air. What did Anoop do? Anoop dug and built G5, which to me this seems like a pure hate dig, because I don't know what this is doing other than blowing up a potential Ice Maiden's town. Like, there's no... Does he think that... Maybe he thinks that this is like a... Yeah, maybe he's going to double dig H7 to try to build these guys as well. He did convert 2 workers to coins to do that, so like that's a little sad, but Anoop is not playing the most economic game anyway, so it's probably okay. And he will just burn down and open with the coins action next round. So I don't know. Anoop can take it to Coin Town over here. That's fine. Yeah, this Mermaids game is okay. It's not awful. The settlements look good. The endgame scoring doesn't look particularly good in any respect for the chash at the moment, but I mean, they can get the spade. The spade's pretty sweet for chash who can't advance digs. Matt could hard dig here. Matt finally takes some other favors. I think Water 2 is like pretty decent looking now, along with maybe Air 1. Excuse me. Yeah, it is Water 2, Air 1 like we thought. JDI puts himself in position to close this cult. I do like that. You've committed so many priests to this cult instead of like investing into your economy, so this seems correct for chash. Matt is going to go up the water track, so that way it's only a priest away from a second dig. But he has Air 1, so... Oh, okay, so I misread this, but a lot of this is Matt kind of doing what I was saying that mermaids should do, which was take the slowest route that they could. However, yeah, that they can't possibly outlast Ice Maidens there. So they just get a little value from Water 2. To me, it's very sad that you can't get points on when you don't get points on Air 1. But I suppose all the air 1 points are coming next round anyway, so so it's good to just have it in hand already. This is too much leech for Chaos Magicians. They're going to they could accept. They decline. Yeah, I was thinking that it was probably a little too much to take. Matt's going to have 3 priests next round. What's that all about? I guess there were just a lot of coins sitting on that. Yeah, there are 3 coins on it, so the priest is probably just a little better than this. So it's like an asset that you can hold on to for the future round instead of just losing it if you pass early for this. Okay, so Fatty got an 8-pointer, so his points have finally started to increase along with this. He's going to be passing for a lot of points coming up. And I think that if I were Fatty, I might just say F it to make another town, especially with a nuke doing this. Fatty's going to build out this dwelling, obviously. Well, no, he digs this yellow. Okay. That makes sense for expansion. Also, maybe keeps Matt off of this G2 hex, but I don't think that's going to actually keep Matt off of G2. I guess his coin economy was fine, so that's fine. I don't really see why not just build this dwelling, but whatever. I think gets a coins action. JDI might buy a bridge, might buy a spade action. I think spade in G2 is not too bad for chash. Yeah, it's a bridge. Okay. We're going to get the town from chash. I think that a coin town is quite valuable for chash. So I would expect this to be a coin town and this to be a coin town. I suppose priest town is not awful because it's 4 power right away for chash, and that puts a lot of power in the bulls. And then maybe this is like the round where they advance on this track a lot instead of building TPs. They don't have enough priests to advance or coins to advance shipping a lot, but they could just make a one TP and plus advance all the way on their income track this round. I think that's probably how I would play chash. I'd probably take the 8-pointer and advance all the way on the income track. As mermaids, I would be taking a coin town, probably. I wonder if mermaids fire 2 here. To me, like, they have 2 towns set up, so fire, and like this town is gonna be really hard to make without fire 2, so maybe they go for that. But yeah, the limitations on mermaids' economy is kind of showing up a little bit. They've got workers but no coins, which to be fair is pretty common around the board. I wasn't crazy about this temple from Matt. Matt at least has lots of leech and income favors though. Also, this is hilarious. Yeah, Matt's seeing a lot of hate around his yellows. This is 3 yellows that Fatty has taken, and I think that Matt had a legitimate claim for each one of those in terms of like interest for expansion. It indeed was the 8-pointer from JDI, so that is what we're seeing. Yeah, looking at it, I mean, I don't hate Fire 2 for a coin town here, for a nuke. As we said, Fatty might be done making towns. I would not be surprised to see this being Air 1. I think this being Air 1 and then build out a temple and like two. So I think temple for Air 1, 2 dwellings and 1 TP would be a pretty sweet round for Fatty. I think that he has enough coins to make that work. And that would mean a passive passing points of 11 next round. By the way, this D7 hex is actually connection for Fatty, so that's why this was so important to take. Not because it disrupted Matt or anything, but because it's the connection hex for Ice Maidens. So Anoop took g5, and I was thinking that maybe that's a sign that he wants to get over here, but that's not what goes down. Anoop takes a priest town instead of a coin town, which is definitely going to make making a town over here a lot harder. You could just be abandoning that thought and thinking that these are two separate clusters, because it is cluster scoring, as we discussed. I don't think that's too bad. So it does look like mermaids aren't getting back onto this tile. Their game is kind of coming to a close. They'll pass for either this, well, any of these tiles is good for them. The 10th ship is okay for them because it gets them better access to a coin's action, and the other two are just obviously coins, which is what they need. Is this air 1? It's water 2. That's a bummer to me. I thought that it could have been so fun if that were air 1. I am sad that that wasn't air 1, because I do think that if it had been air 1, and then we had gotten dwelling, temple, ship advance, that would have just been like one of the greatest passing factions that we've ever seen, along with like 3 bridge engineers with air 1, which I guess is more common. Eljaz saying that the lack of a temple pass tile is due to ice maidens. Yeah. Obviously, this stronghold plus 3 temples, they're already passing for 9. Matt closed water, so I mean the water 2, what it gets, I don't see it getting them any points really. It lets them like stall longer so that maybe no one else gets onto this guy, but Matt has a chance of being able to stall long enough to get that anyway. So I really think that air 1 was better in my opinion than water 2. Now I'm just like too big of a fan of air 1, but I really think that contextually speaking, I like Matt's water 2, but I don't really like Ice Maiden's water 2. Like, do they think that they're beating Matt on any of these tracks? I don't think that they think that. I don't think that they are. To be fair, they're passing for 18 points here. They're going to have 88 points as soon as they pass. And they're going to get some Earth 1 points and some, I think they're going to go dwelling TP, unless they take a priest to fight cults. In fact, they could take a priest to fight cults and go dwelling TP, so. Yeah, to me, water 2 loses the thread by a little bit. Air 1 is more points, so it's a little more attractive to me. I think that Fatty needs to worry a little bit about his network. I really thought that, like, this Ice Maiden's game was nice and tall, but then they wound up prioritizing digs and passing with, like, workers with digs and unbuilt hexes instead of building dwellings, making TPs, and, like, getting all their structures out. Like, in a typical type of game, I like to game where I'm fighting network and playing economically. I like to end with all my TPs out and all my dwellings out, and then I have like however many big buildings, like temples, sanctuaries, or strongholds left on the board. But there's no way that Fatty has enough workers to get out 8 workers of dwellings and 8 workers of TPs plus 8 digs at least to get all those out. So Fatty is going to wind up probably with like, I don't even know if he's getting out all his dwellings or if he's just going to build. Yeah, I mean, he has Earth 1, but not Water 1 or Air 1. So he probably builds like 2 TPs and the rest of his dwellings, and then ends with 14 network, maybe 13 network. I don't know. Not a huge fan there of just the way that he's contested network this game. JDI used the spade to get over here. He will get onto E7 eventually. Actually, Anoop can double dig F6 for good access over here if he's still looking to expand network. There's also, of course, 2 digs here for more stuff. Yeah, Anoop has like a nice, like sort of what I would consider to be like a mid-range game. Like he hasn't excelled at any one given thing, but he's made stuff work. Oh, he does have another TP and a lot of power. He must have gotten a lot of reach here. Don't know exactly how that happened. Oh, I guess this doesn't hurt. This doesn't hurt. Matt's got 2 TPs out. Probably, oh, he dug this house. Okay, so he's going to get out 2 more dwellings and 1 more TP. This priest can go to either earth or fire. I would think that Fatty has no way to contest fire at the moment. Making a sanctuary is just awful for Fatty, so... actually, Fatty's the only competition on both these cults. So Matt probably just wants to hold off on that and make 2 TPs, and maybe just build G2 to lock it up, but leave G1 like open for the moment. It's also nice to kind of deny a nuke that neighbor for the moment. So otherwise a nuke is making an easy town over there. Admittedly, I was wrong about a lot of things about this mermaids game. I think that it hasn't gone badly. I do think that their lack of cult presence and the fact that they haven't been able to get onto this past towel like I wish that they had has been rough. But they're going to get 2 spades off this cult. I think that one of them might go, yeah, one of them goes like here, one of them goes here. This town does happen, even if it takes Fire 2 to make it come together. So lots of points, yeah. Let's look at chash. How many structures have chash got out? Chash probably want to end this game with all their TPs and all their dwellings out. I don't think that this temple is going to happen. So they need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 workers for their structures. They have 1 natural green left for them. So they need 3 digs. They're going to be able to buy both. They're probably going to be able to buy both a coins action and a double dig action this game, next round. Because again, they can spend coins as power actions. The coins action just gets them more power to use for their double spade. They might even get the single spade, but they probably don't need it because they have enough workers. So Chash will get to 14 network next round, and they'll make 12 points of TPs and 8 points of dwellings. So it's 20 points of structures, plus max out this track for... actually, they only need 2 ship to connect, right? They only need 2 ship to connect. So I'm looking at 23 points of this, and then probably max this guy out for 12 more points, so 35 points. I think that JDI ends next round somewhere around like the 112 range. Trying to figure out if they beat mermaids on network. Fatty is slow playing. Definitely don't like Fatty not building a TP this round. Anoop has to decide whether it's worth fighting for that tile. If he thinks that it's worth fighting for that tile, what he should do is buy the priest. And to me, like, the answer can't possibly be that it's not worth fighting for that tile. Fatty's out of moves. Fatty has 2 actions left. Anoop can take the priest, send the priest off, and then hard dig or something for his final action. He can hard dig. Okay, no, he gives up on the round. Okay, and he took a power spade too. Okay, I would not have played it that way as mermaids. But I mean, it could work out for him. Like, this does help his economy. He has a chance at ending with only 3 structures on his board. Matt is clearly going to end with 3 or fewer structures on his board. He didn't have Earth 1 in round 1, so he has the best economy. He went double econ, followed by quadruple or triple econ, I guess. He still doesn't have Fire 1. Matt could make another TP, but that would involve worker to coin. And I think that that doesn't help his economy anymore. So I think at this point, Matt probably puts a priest off to a cult and then only does anything else for stalling purposes. I could see Matt. Oh, Matt has a spot to build on. Okay, so it's going to be priest to fire maybe, or priest to earth maybe, followed by G1. I think is the rest of Matt's round, and then he gets onto the ship tile. Yeah, I don't love Chash's prospects here. I think that, let's see, how close is Fatty to getting down to 3 structures? I think Fatty can get down to 3 structures. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 workers. He has 2 hexes already, so he only needs 2 digs. So Fatty needs 11 workers left this game. He has 7, but then he also has 3 coming in from priests. Oh, he has cult spades. Yeah, Fatty has cult spades, so he only needs 9 workers to make his stuff. He has enough workers. He just needs coins. He can use power as coins. So I think that Fatty is going to get out to 14 structures. I would assume. That's my prediction for Fatty. 14 structures, and he's going to beat Chash on network. Chash had more direct points, or he's going to beat Chash by a lot on the settlements. I don't think Chash are going to do well on settlements. I think they're going to do very poorly on settlements. Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, and if they try to dig through this stuff for network, then that's just not enough. Yeah, so Chash I think have a 0 on network. Chaos have on the extra scoring. Chaos actually have some hex issues because all these well-placed yellow digs have blocked off like tons of reds. Like these reds and this red have been lost because of the good digs from Ice Maidens. So I think Ice Maidens probably have 18 points coming to them on this settlement scoring. So love that for Fatty and the Ice Maidens. Matt's crushing network so much right now, or not network but cults. That could be a difference maker. Plus he has this. Plus he's the only player who's managed to have the econ for Air 1. So can he win network outright? He might not be able to. He might be stuck at 14. Like he might not be able to get Temple, TP, and then an extra dwelling out because he's used up all his natural reds. He doesn't have advanced digs or anything. He actually doesn't even have that many coins. So to me, it's if I had to pick a winner right now, I think I would lean toward Ice Maidens. Ice Maidens had the second best cult game. They have, to me, it looks like they have a tie on network. I think that they're going to be able to get down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 structures. I forgot that Matt has 2 cult digs coming in actually. Chaos Magicians do. So those cult digs could result in good action for Chaos Magicians. But the fact that, so Chaos could win network outright. And if Chaos win network outright, like regular network outright, and they're second on this network, then I do favor them to win. However, if Fatty ties Chaos for regular network, then I like Ice Maidens to win. But I could be wrong. Chaos could just be like winning this anyway, because of this pass tile and Air 1. Oh, I forgot about the passing points for Ice Maidens. Yeah, okay. So my bold prediction is that Ice Maidens have it. We're going to see if it goes down that way. They don't have that many coins, so that could definitely become an issue very quickly. It looks like they have 13 coins, and they want to build out, according to me, they want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 coins. I think that they want 16 coins. They have 13. So they might be able to get out 3 worth of leech. They have an extra priest that they can send for 1 coin. So they need 4 power worth of leech to get out to 14. If they manage to get out to that, I really like their chances. Matt has 12 coins. Matt wants to build out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would be very, very modest. He can easily manage 14 network. The question is, what about this 15th network? That's 9. This would be 14. Plus 5 is 19 coins. So Matt would need a ton more coins. Now he has a couple of extra workers, but I don't think that Matt has enough to get out to win network outright. He's passing for 14, and he has an edge of about 14 points in the cults, I assume. So he's got 28 points coming in versus Fatty that Fatty doesn't have. Fatty has Fatty is passing for 9. Yeah, I do think that the factions that we thought were the strongest, Chaos and Ice Maidens, are the most likely to win here. Ooh, a nuke hitting these 3 extras is really nice. Let's count the settlements up, actually, right? Matt is thinking really hard about these spades, where they can be placed where they won't get disrupted and can still count for extra settlements. But the fact is, they're not extra settlements, right? Yeah, he just takes E1, and he might even go for a town here, but that's pretty sad for settlements. But a well-placed double spade does look like a town possibility here. JDI is going to grab the coins, I think. Yeah, takes the coins first. Can hope to wheel double spade, but I think that Matt might just grab double spade to carve his town. Fatty is now in the leech game. I think that Priest to Earth makes a lot of sense for Fatty right now. I think I said that he needs 9 workers to build out all the stuff. That's 4 here and then 5 here. I just builds dwellings. Okay, that's fine too. Yeah, I mean, Fatty's just playing a leech game. His game is pretty scripted if he can get 4 leech this round. Matt secures his hex first. Yeah, so JDI does manage to get the double spade. That's nice. Fatty can disrupt either of these hexes. That's dangerous for our parrot witch friends. Actually, so JDI is kicking network to the curb, but there is a chance that he can make a town here. Right, the bridge action is uncontested this round. Someone has to block the bridge from him specifically, and does anyone actually have like the motivation to do that? I have my doubts. That was definitely unfortunate for Nuke as well, by the way. But it was foreseeable, I guess, but it was unfortunate. Like, I feel like these 2 hexes have just been real bummers for a Nuke, because a Nuke had these. He had so many blues like on the west, and then he came out here like he had a better game than he realized than like we had anticipated. But his game's not awful. He has another town like for sure. It's gonna involve fire too, but it does look like he's not getting down to his few structures. So being out of the network, the regular network race, is a bummer. He is going to get at least 6 points here. He might get 12 points. Let's count his settlements. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then let's say that he gets out 1 more. 7. Matt has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, even if he towns through here, there's no way that Anoop is beating Matt in settlements. And Fatty assuming that Fatty gets all his stuff out, he's gotten one of the leech that he needs. Yeah, he's gotten one of the 4 leech that he needs. And I think that JDI is inclined to give him more of the leech that he needs. Fatty will be crushing settlements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. I don't think that... well, Matt might be able to compete with that, but again, he doesn't have single digs. He doesn't have single dig hexes in spots that actually give him more settlements. So I think that he's... there's one. Okay, there's one spot that he could single dig for an extra settlement. Okay, so clearly Matt has decided basically that it's more important to contest settlements than it is to make this town. Which makes sense, because making the town... crushes a settlement. And it's pretty tough to make TPs. Fatty should realize that he's now 1 leech away. Fatty can't put this priest to earth. This is some posturing here by Fatty, but he can't actually do it because he needs the priest to contest network. He can try to use water 2 to like get up there or something, but yeah, this spade is also... I don't know if Fatty actually countered out his stuff. He probably didn't count out his stuff before he passed for the spade. I think temp ship, or honestly the priest would have been better. The priest actually would have been like huge for Fatty, because the priest can actually just go to earth, and that's a lot of points against Matt, and it does some other nice stuff for him, but that's okay. I mean, he's going to get this leech. He's going to get this leech from... he now only needs 2 more leech. So he's going to get that from JDI building through here with a TP. No way he doesn't. So if Matt doesn't join these and he finds himself 1 more spot to... 1 more settlement for Matt. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's say he makes it like 11 or something. And I think that's what we said Fatty had as well, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, Fatty only has 10. So Matt already has tied Fatty for settlements. He shouldn't make this town then. He should just make TPs. And maybe hard dig E2 for network. And then call it a game. Matt might have enough to even advance digs once. I think that probably water 2 bump plus priest to earth. Gets him some coins back, and gets him points against Fatty. Then he only needs 5 coins for TP and dwelling, so he can advance digs once. But he's 1 worker short of being able to advance digs once, if he sends priest off. Okay. Probably it begins with a TP, right? Or it begins with a priest. I don't know. We'll see how Matt plays it. He's a good player. He can figure out his world. Yep, okay, there's the TP. I didn't notice this. There was a little hate digging going against the chash. But chash need the bridge more. Oh, prime one. Good point. He can't win Earth. Okay, so the cult bump might go on here instead. Yeah, I totally missed that. He can't actually close the Earth cult because he doesn't have the keys for it. He put Priest to Fire before, which was less contested of a cult than Earth. But he did that because he could get the power there, so he wouldn't need to do worker to coin. That's what I think happened there, so that he could build Chew on last round without worker to coin. So Anoop finally builds B3, gets himself one more settlement. Yep. So now Anoop's final actions are going to be, his final action will be to temple for water 1, or for fire 2 rather. Maybe he puts a bump here so that he can preserve his priest and not turn it into a sad coin, but he will temple for water for fire 1 and probably the 11 pointer. Nothing seems better than that. So an 11 pointer for a nuke takes him up to 112. Let's say that he manages to get this step here. Let's say that chash don't tie him here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0 on regular network. So sorry, he would be at 112, 118. 0 on regular network, probably 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so 6 points on network. So that's 124. That seems really low. 124 with 12 points in the end game plus I think it's like 130, right? Sorry. This is 112, and then he's gonna get 6 points here, 6 points on network, 6 points on this network. Okay, so that's 18, so it's 130. Yeah, 130's, I feel like 130 is just not a lot of points. And I don't think it's Anoop's fault. I don't think he's played it that badly. I think that his network, it's just very hard to like get good network points as mermaids. I think that he could have expanded a little better here. Could have taken these digs and put them over here for a town instead. But yeah, it doesn't look too great for them. We're about to see a hard dig come in for JDI over here, I think. Assuming ice maidens aren't like extremely hateful about digging it. So JDI will get a 9-point town. He will be able to. He has enough workers to just hard dig twice to get out the rest of his stuff on F5 and B7. I'm assuming that he's going to be able to advance ship once as well. It's 1, 2. Oh, hold on. The chash don't have a. Two hard digs plus a TP is what, 10 workers? Yeah. Okay, so he does have that. So that'll be 6 plus 4 more points. That's 10 plus 9 is 19 plus the ship advance. 22. JDI goes here before coming here. It's interesting. And so we were saying that Fatty was going to win. Fatty is still waiting on his last leech, but it looks really good. Oh, Fatty put Priest to Earth? I think. Am I crazy or is that a big mistake? Yeah, that was. Oh, okay. He has a water 2-step that he can put on air, so that's 1 more coin coming in for Fatty. Fatty needs another worker now, though, right? To build out all his stuff. He needs. Oh, he might have gotten a lot more leech than I realized. Okay. Fatty needs 10 coins, so he only needs 1 leech, plus he gets this for his worker. Okay. So Fatty needs 1 point of leech to make this happen. He needs to go priest to worker and 3 coins to a worker. Or 3 power. So he needs to go 3 power to a worker, 1 priest to a worker, and like get a coin or something. I believe that's what needs to happen here for Fatty to get out all his structures. So he just needs, oh, but the leech happened over here. So is there a chance that Fatty doesn't get out all the stuff he wants? Like, he needs one leech. Is he going to get that leech? I think we just upgraded G7, right? So that's not F7 that's getting this leech. It's a coin town from JDI, so he's got big network aspirations. He might be... Oh, he's going to go Temple for Air 1 plus TP. Okay. Yeah, so Anoop isn't going to get this point either. So it's like a 129 for mermaids. Chaos are done, so we can calculate their points actually. They're passing for 13. They're tying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, that has outright won settlements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, Matt outright won settlements. He has 24 here, and he's going to tie for network against Ice Maidens at their very best. Oh, I miscounted. Ice Maidens were... Oh, I see. Ice Maidens were never in the true network race. Didn't realize that. And Chash have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, Chash actually are getting some points for mermaids for clusters. Mermaids ended with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clusters, and that looks like what Chash have as well. Yeah, I was wrong about Ice Maidens actually having 13 network worth of stuff. So that's quite a bummer for Fatty. I mean, so I think that Matt has it for sure. And then do Chash beat Ice Maidens then? I don't think so. Right. Ice Maidens have better cults. They have better. They're passing for points. I don't know. It's not clear to me what's happening here. Yeah, Fatty's saying that he messed up his worker count. That's for sure. JDI just making some points at the end decided that advancing on income track was actually better than advancing here. That makes a lot of sense. He's going to advance on income track again for 4 points, and then have a resource point, I guess. What is this? Oh, okay. Gets a point there. You won't have a resource point, so you have 122. 122 plus 15 on network, 137 plus 10, 11. 151 or so. Well, let's just watch the tally happen. No point in trying to do the addition now. Matt's saying that he took the path that he took because he realized that Fatty couldn't. I assume that means like tie him on network or anything. But yeah, this 15 plus 18 is just absolutely massive. That's 33 more points coming in after this, so that's gonna be like 156. I think that Chash are like way closer than I realized. Because I think Chash, I said something like 151. Wow. What a wild game. I mean, I was very critical of chash, but I mean, as we said, they're just inherently like very resilient. As long as you get both scoring favors and you can get out this stronghold, um, you're going to get out to a good network. Like 14 isn't like an incredible network, but with this late of a stronghold, two scoring favors, and like a color neighbor on this map, I think it's quite impressive. Um, and yeah, Ice Maidens just. I think that I was right that if they had managed to like tie one of those two network things, then they were in it. But yeah, this was just a little bit short for Fatty. Um, it was a fun one to cast. We can take a quick look at like the breakdown of things. It does look like Ice Maidens and Chaos were wound up being approximately equal in terms of true value. I do think that Fatty made a couple missteps. He had some bad breaks. Like I guess it was foreseeable that he wasn't getting any spades in the spade round. He wound up advancing digs then, which was really neat. But Matt managing to get this, I think that Matt getting this center town was a huge break for him. And to be fair, like he made it work. Like he did it himself, so I like that a lot. The chat is complimentary toward the trash dallah. Yeah, I do think that again. I think that JDI could have had like a slightly better game if he had. Like I think that there was a world where JDI like temp shift in round two to get these two hexes instead of or took the spade or something. Like he decided to win the air cult, which I mean in the end like maybe it was the right call. I don't know. To me like the winning the air cult while he was priest instead of like advancing ship, getting out dwellings and stuff just felt like weird to me. He didn't advance very far on the income track either. Two of these steps happened in the final round, but in any case, I think that this is a very cool game. Like my mind is always exploding, like with Fire and Ice factions and the Fire and Ice scoring. I have no idea how to prioritize anything, but I think that it's probably pretty foreseeable that Economy wins. Matt got Earth 1 blocked early in the game, and he responded with taking two economic favors. He took the 2-key town, and he went ahead, tied network. He survived a bunch of digs on hexes that he would have liked, and he won the game outright. So I think that's pretty much the story of this game. In any case, thank you to the competitors. I feel like it was a good one to watch. Certainly a very competitive game. And I think that, thanks everyone for watching this game too. It makes more fun to cast it. Really happy with the organizers for making like this cool format. And yeah, Matt just continues to do good things in these games with Fire and Ice factions and fan factions. So hopefully I can get myself an arena game sometime this Labor Day weekend. But until then, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you next time.